Hollywood's blockbuster boom buried some genuinely disturbing sci-fi under sanitized spectacle. While audiences chased Spielberg wonder and Cameron explosions, studios accidentally released nightmares about reality-warping cities, spine-jacking game pods, and hell dimensions lurking in deep space. These films tanked hard, then spent decades on forgotten video store shelves waiting for midnight viewers twisted enough to appreciate them. Dark City dropped Rufus Sewell into a bathtub covered in blood next to a murdered woman, his character John Murdoch waking with zero memory except pale figures in trench coats hunting him through rain-swept streets where buildings twist unnaturally at midnight. Inspector Bumstead tracks him through neon diners while nightclub singer Emma begs him to remember their marriage, and slowly John realizes the strangers descend every night to tune reality, swapping faces and fortunes, while the city sleeps in some twisted experiment on humanity's soul. Director Alex Proyas withheld key script details from Sewell until filming the opening scene to capture amnesiac confusion, with sets rebuilt between takes to mirror the city's shifts as Sewell navigated the disorientation in real time. Kiefer Sutherland endured extensive makeup for Dr. Schreiber's veined prosthetics and hollow cheeks, while intense lighting amplified the noir dread during long takes where wire suspension left harnesses biting into his skin during midnight tuning scenes. Jennifer Connelly's vocals got dubbed by professional singer Anita Kelsey in the theatrical cut, studio executives erasing her voice the same way the strangers erase memories, but years later Proyas invited her back for the director's cut to record her own singing. The film bombed against Titanic, earning just $27 million worldwide, but it influenced The Matrix, released 1 year later, becoming the blueprint for every reality-questioning thriller that followed. Its vision of algorithmic overlords rewriting human experience, feeling less like science fiction every time you scroll through your personalized feed. eXistenZ threw Jude Law and Jennifer Jason Leigh into David Cronenberg's wettest nightmare as a marketing trainee and game designer who jack bioports directly into their spines to enter a video game made of pulsing flesh, and the whole movie becomes this nesting doll horror where you can't tell if they're inside the game or if anything is real at all. They gut mutant trout at slimy factories, birth bone guns from amphibian gristle at Chinese restaurants, and watch realities nest endlessly, until Ted's murdering handlers and Allegra's birthing mutant game pods from her thigh like some twisted pregnancy. Makeup artists glued pulsating prosthetics to Law's lower back daily, with cables snaking realistically, while crew members tugged for insertion authenticity. And Law flinched genuinely in early takes because his real squeamishness channeled Ted's horror at violation as the dude paced between takes trying to acclimate to the constant prodding. Jennifer Jason Leigh immersed deeply in her role amid the fleshy bioport effects by makeup lead Stéphane Dupuis, cradling the veined rubber pod between takes to instill maternal instinct and Allegra's genius protectiveness. Willem Dafoe leaned into gas, the port drilling mechanic's manic energy, with his drill wearing inches from Law's prosthetics and confined booths slicked with lubricant, close-up scenes amplifying the violation. The film tanked commercially because audiences in 1999 were digesting The Matrix's cleaner virtual reality. But 2 decades later, those fleshy spine-jacking pods don't look absurd when millions voluntarily strap headsets to their faces and jack into metaverse realities, designed to keep them addicted. Event Horizon dispatched Laurence Fishburne's Captain Miller and his rescue crew to Neptune, where the experimental gravity drive ship drifted back after vanishing 7 years prior. And the team boards the Gothic wreck, finding blood-smeared walls etched with Latin pleas like "Save yourself from hell," frozen eyeless corpses, and video logs revealing the original crew's orgy of self-mutilation after the drive punched through into a dimension of pure chaos. Hallucinations strike immediately as ship designer Dr. Weir sees his suicidal wife Claire Eilison beckoning. Miller relives abandoning burning engineer Eddie, and suddenly the possessed ship starts hunting them through corridors where the core manifests their worst traumas as deadly visions. Sam Neill wore escalating silicone prosthetics with airbrush decay spreading across his face, as makeup artists layered latex veins daily for Weir's mutilation, enduring wire suspension amid scorching sets for levitation sequences that left harnesses cutting his shoulders. Neil channeled real grief into clear visions, emerging shaken from solo preparation sessions that fueled his descent into possession. Fishburne held steady through practical flames, licking sets during Eddie flashbacks, and gravity tank simulations mimicking high-G acceleration, anchoring Miller's command through hell with physical endurance that matched the character's determination. The film bombed at $47 million domestic against its $60 million budget, with Paramount slashing the original cut's most extreme gore. But it became the template for space horror that understands humanity's greatest enemy in the void isn't aliens, it's the hell we carry inside ourselves, that deep space gives permission to finally show its face. Strange Days thrust Ralph Fiennes into riot-torn 1996 Los Angeles as ex-cop Lenny Nero peddling black market squid clips that capture raw human sensations via neural implants jacked directly into the brainstem, and suddenly he's overdosing on playback loops, reliving girlfriend Faith's abuse, while Courier Iris delivers cop murder footage implicating officers in activist Jericho 1's assassination. Bodyguard Mace drags Lenny from his addiction as riots brew toward millennium chaos. Hacker Max betrays him stealing the clip, and Faith rejects his desperate pleas while police massacre footage plays through victim perspectives that overload neural feeds. Fiennes captured Lenny's addiction through intense squid playback research, immersing in the voyeuristic text implications, while water tank submersion for overdose scenes left him gasping between takes that blurred performance with physical exhaustion. He isolated himself studying addiction behavior to channel the character's desperate descent, emerging from preparation sessions with genuine understanding of compulsive replay that anchored his performance. Angela Bassett rehearsed with riot extras and pyrotechnics for Mace's fury, drawing from 1992 LA footage influences as authentic chaos fueled her physical power through crowd scenes that left her genuinely sore from the demanding stunt work. Juliette Lewis rasped Faith's Apocalypse nightclub, sets chain smoking for vocal edge, and vocal nodules force therapy post-rap after the demanding musical performances. Catherine Bigelow's tech-noir thriller bombed at $8 million domestic against its $42 million budget, but it endures as the film that predicted our appetite for experiencing other people's trauma through phones and body cams without ever actually helping them. The squid technology looking less like science fiction and more like social media with better hardware. Sphere plunged Sharon Stone, Dustin Hoffman, and Samuel L. Jackson to the bottom of the Pacific Ocean to investigate an alien spacecraft that's been sitting there for 300 years, and inside floats a perfect golden sphere that grants manifestation powers to anyone who enters, which sounds cool until it's unleashing their worst nightmares as deadly reality while they're trapped underwater with no escape. Sea nettles swarm a technician to death. A giant squid pulverizes the habitat. Serpents nearly drown Norman, and the surviving crew realizes Harry's subconscious is manifesting as Jerry through garbled computer messages, turning paranoia into literal carnage. Stone endured 12-hour days submerged in 40-foot deep tanks at Universal Studios, while massive fans blasted currents that slammed her against habitat walls, emerging blue-lipped and chilled after takes where harnesses pinned her underwater with practical snake effects released amid bubbles. Jackson and Hoffman pushed through the tank's claustrophobic mania across grueling underwater sequences, Hoffman's emotional breakdown during the memory erasure finale, anchoring the film's psychological descent. The $80 million production became Barry Levinson's biggest flop, despite its A-list cast. Audiences in 1998 expecting Spielberg-style wonder and getting claustrophobic psychological horror instead. But it lingers as that rare film willing to show what happens when humans get exactly what they wish for. They'd rather erase the memory than live with that kind of power. Videodrome caught Max Wren scanning pirate signals for edgier cable fare when he discovers a broadcast featuring hooded torturers gutting victims in grimy snuff loops that feel too real, and suddenly Max is hallucinating an abdominal VCR slot erupting from his torso while guns fuse organically into his palms and bodies explode on impact. The deeper he investigates through media guru Brian Oblivion's tape sermons and girlfriend Nikki Brand's obsession with the torture realism, the more reality warps until Max can't tell if Videodrome induces tumors reshaping flesh or if he's losing his mind in the signal's hypnotic pull. Rick Baker's team applied pulsating VCR prosthetics daily to James Woods' torso, with cables simulating insertion for visceral authenticity, while Woods writhed in genuine revulsion, feeling violation acutely as tapes ejected amid the practical effects. Woods submitted to gun fusion rigs where barrels emerged organically from his palms, firing blanks and visceral execution scenes that pushed the boundaries of body horror cinema. Deborah Harry embodied Nikki's snuff quest with lip-sync torture screams, emerging hoarse from endless vocal takes channeling punk edge into media obsession. The film tanked badly enough that Cronenberg ended up directing The Dead Zone next. His first project he hadn't written himself, but Videodrome aged from curiosity into prophecy as screens stopped being things we watched and became things we fed. The fleshy VHS slots feeling less like body horror and more like documentary footage of humanity willingly mutating into the technology consuming us. Lifeforce launched a joint British-American shuttle into Halley's Comet, where Commander Carson's crew discovers a colossal 150-mile alien craft housing 3 pristine naked humanoids suspended in crystal sarcophagi, and Carson senses an irresistible psychic pull from the ethereal female before contact snaps and rescuers find the shuttle gutted by fire with the crew mummified, except the aliens intact. At London's Space Research Center, the female vampire stirs, kissing a guard into withered husk, before escaping nude through ventilation shafts, and suddenly drained victims rise as zombies craving life force every 2 hours, while the males shapeshift, unleashing plague on London's streets. Mathilda May arrived for the space vampire role with minimal English, casts from nude Polaroids that caught Toby Hooper's eye, stepping into full frontal exposure from opening shuttle scenes without body doubles, as she held predatory poise nude through Shepperton studio sets while sustaining the character's unearthly presence. May endured crystal sarcophagus dunks and plasma-lit St. Paul's Cathedral altar poses for hours with wind machines whipping her hair during ascension sequences, emerging from the demanding physical shoots that tested her endurance. Steve Railsback wired into zero-gravity rigs for Carson's psychic obsession, suspension work through the craft's arterial sets channeling the character's compulsion across intense physical demands. Patrick Stewart's possession makeup tested his composure in the Asylum cameo mid-shoot, as the female shapeshifted host, his performance cracking under the grotesque transformation. The film bombed spectacularly at $11 million domestic against its $25 million budget, but it survived as the rare space vampire epic, willing to commit fully to its gonzo premise, May's fearless performance becoming the blueprint for every alien seductress that followed, while proving sometimes the most memorable roles require absolute commitment to the absurd. 1984 imprisoned John Hurt as Winston Smith, scraping away at the Ministry of Truth, vaporizing historical records to match Big Brother's ever-changing lies and perpetually gray airstrip one. And he scratches a forbidden diary in his alcove's blind spot while dreaming of pastoral escapes before co-worker Julia slips him a love note, and they're secretly renting Charrington's pro-lay shop room for lovemaking that defies party puritanism. Inter-party member O'Brien gifts them revolutionary Goldstein's tome exposing oligarchical collectivism, but arrests shatter the idol when kindly Charrington unmasks as thought police agent with hidden telescreens capturing every intimate moment. And suddenly, Winston's trapped in the Ministry of Love, where O'Brien's electrodes and Room 101's rat mask horror methodically shatter his resistance until he betrays Julia and then finally himself. Hurt faced real rats in Room 101's cage, under Michael Radford's harsh lights for Winston's visceral terror, starving himself between shoots to physically embody decline that made the performance disturbingly authentic as he paced sets hollow-eyed refusing meals. He endured electrode prop shocks during O'Brien's relentless interrogations with practical trained rats that heightened the genuine fear, bleeding through Winston's psychological collapse, ad-libbing sobs that drew from real emotional reserves. Richard Burton joined production mid-shoot despite being visibly frail from health struggles, delivering O'Brien's chilling paternal menace across multiple takes on Goldstein's manifesto speech while wheezing from declining condition, supervised sobriety channeling physical deterioration into calculated cruelty. Susanna Hamilton ignited Julia's defiant rebellion through nude golden country scenes, shot in genuine winter cold, her boldness cracking during rest sequences as ministry beatings left real bruises. The film became Burton's haunting final performance before his death just months after wrapping, and it endures as the definitive Orwell adaptation that captured how totalitarianism doesn't just control what you do, it rewrites what you remember and love, until Winston's final tears for Big Brother feel exactly like scrolling past atrocities to the algorithm's next approved opinion.